Alright, we made it back last night. Got home about 9 o'clock. 14 and a half hours of driving. A couple of tanks of gas, obviously. The roads were all good except for when we got to Georgia. It's like Georgia doesn't understand how to connect a bridge to a road. They either have to have a ditch or a jump or a combination of both. And that was the only stressful part, was hitting those deep ditches or jumps. It was like, the wind is blowing and I'm hoping that the mic isn't being affected. Now, this car, I don't know what I'm going to do with it just yet. I did call it Cherry Bomb originally. I am debating on calling it Coral Grief because it's supposed to be Calypso Coral, right? So I thought Coral Grief might sound better. I don't know yet. Let me know what you think. The car itself, there's no engine, no drivetrain, no interior, no wiring. The people who had it before me, they just stripped this thing. Apparently they had started to work on this project, found a better car, and took all the good parts off of this one to fix up the other one. I get it, that's fine. But there are some good things on this car, and I'm going to show you some of those. Now, of course, this is a 1970 Mach 1. It has a good VIN number on it. The front fenders are 69, along with the headlight buckets, which are pretty much junk. They're either bent or broken, not really usable at all in my opinion. I did order a MARTI report, so I'm going to find out exactly what this car is supposed to have in it. But some things are really interesting, like it has a rear sway bar. Never seen one of those. It appears to have a Z-bar mount, clutch mount, on the frame underneath the steering box. It does have drum brakes. Could be original, might not be, I don't know. Other than that, I think the car itself has potential, but if I ever do anything with it, it's going to be a complete rebuild. It would be a new complete floor pan, wheel houses, quarter panels, front aprons with frame rails, firewall. I mean, you all know the drill. I'm saving the roof and the VIN if I do something with it. I haven't decided just yet, but I will unload it and get it in the garage. Let's look at the cool stuff that it has on it. And the not so cool stuff. So we'll start with the front. Again, these are 69 buckets and they're all busted. They're bent, mangled. This one's all busted to pieces. Those are basically just scrap at this point. Core support, it's not worth keeping. You can see they did some really custom patchwork there. The bottom box here is rotted out, so the core support's no good. Frame rail, yeah, no good. That would be scrap. It looks like somebody did some sketchy welding on the strut rod brackets. Obviously, those are no good. Basically, I'm going to say nothing up front is worth having. That side, shock tower down there in the corner is busted up. They did cut the holes in them anyway. Scrap, not worth keeping. And if I'm going to replace one frame rail, I'm going to do them both anyway. So this is going to be, potentially a complete do-over. Driver's side, that shock tower is horrible. Somebody has cut this up and tried to fix it and did a really, really bad job. The shock tower, big cracks, big welds, just no good. It does appear to have at least, well, one engine mount still on the frame, but also the engine mount itself on the driver's side. There is a manual steering box, and underneath that is what looks like the original mount, hopefully the original mount for a clutch setup. Again, everything up front here is just not worth having. Cowl, probably usable. You can see that this is all black, which is probably how they were done, because the engine bay was all black. You see the overspray here, the orange or reddish paint underneath that. And if you go around the rest of it, you'll see this color, which is, I assume, the Calypso Coral. So here it's more recognizable and in great shape. This back section is okay. The inner structure is okay. It looks like the B-pillars, I haven't really dug into it yet, but it looks like the B-pillars are still good. And I think the A-pillars are still good. door hinges are actually rock solid. There's no movement in the door at all. Now, this door, I know that there's a patch right here. I just, saw this when I was out and about looking at it. It does have the amounts for the, the sport mirror, as they call it, I guess. So it has those. The trim is still on this side, along with the stainless for the door seal, which is good to have. Wing window, obviously, probably wouldn't use any of that. They took the boomerang pieces off. Don't know where any of that is. Everything else inside, again, pretty much scrap. You can see the whole right side or driver's side over there. Torque box is ventilated. The kick panel looks like it's okay. It looks like I don't know what all has been done to this thing. In the back here, you can see the handy dandy pop rivet sticking through the wheelhouse, and the quarter is a bunch of patches. So that's not not usable in my opinion. There's a big patch up here on the floor. Again, I already know it's no good. Patchwork. This is actually tin, maybe aluminum. I don't even know if it's it's steel, but that's come back here. Ventilated wheelhouse there, and a homemade drop-off panel. Forward section. Hey, look, more tin. Plenty of pop rivets though. Built to last. Now it does have a quarter skin on it. Junk. I mean, I know it's not made right. The bottom's not shaped right. So this is an overlay quarter, which is our quarter skin, which is what Charles had bought initially for the Cobra Jet project. So we know those are no good. Now this is creative. I will say that. There is a two-piece drop off. So there's an edge there, edge here, and then lots of pop rivets. There's the quarter patch on the bottom. There's a patch up top. I mean, they really did some experimenting here. Tin work for the wheelhouse. Over here we've got the same thing. We've got this piece of tin overlapping another piece of tin, overlapping another piece of tin. So, like I said, if I were to do this thing, it would be the whole floor pan in one shot. But it gets better. Back here, this filler piece, they made that. They made that, and then they patched it. It's got a patch right there. Imagine. Now, here's a really good thing. Let's step to something good. It still has the extensions. That's a plus. I like those. Both in good shape. No problems there. And this tail panel is in good shape. Now, let's take a look at this. There's a date on it. Can you see that? July 15th, 85. This could be Ford tooling. I don't know. But I would definitely keep this tail panel. So there's one plus. Again, the seat area, all that stuff, hinges. Okay, that's good. Looking at the other side, look at that amazing tin work. So you have the standoff for the filler panel that goes on, holds the trims out the back seat, and actually went so far as to cut around that piece to put a piece of tin on top of the torque box area. So there's another piece there. Really good tin work. Inner structure is all good over there. Obviously the wheelhouse is not going to get used. Kick panel up front there is good. And really, yeah, that's about it. They took all of the pieces off of this side, the quarter window, the boomerang, all the trim. It does have some of the trim around the windshield, and it actually looks like a decent windshield. And the last time it was inspected in Pennsylvania was 1985. almost 40 years ago. They took the wiper motor, I mean, just they pieced off everything they possibly could to get it out of there. Up front here, more custom tin work. That's going to work great. Look at that one. Look at that. That's fantastic. I mean, they did a good job making these little patches. Little patches. Maybe that'll be the name. Little patches. That's it. I like that. Little patches. You have to put a patch underneath the solenoid. Just amazing. Now, it does have what I'm going to say is about a 1-inch sway bar. My thumb is 1 inch wide, so I'm going to go with a 1 inch on that. And in the back, oddly enough, let's see if I can get under there. Now in the back, it's kind of cool. I mean, it's got a 9-inch, great. It has air shocks, which would never be used again. But if you look closely, see if I can get a good angle here. You've got a rear sway bar. What? Yeah, there's a rear sway bar. You can see it running across in front of the tank. There's the mount on the frame rail. That's remarkable. I've never seen a rear sway bar. Of course, this is many coats of tar or whatever on the bottom of it. Floor supports, no good. There's still part of the parking brake assembly there. You can see that frame rail over there. You can see through it. Torque boxes, again, scrap. So, and I think there's even a custom patch right here. Yeah, on the rocker panel. Now I can rebuild some of that, or hand make out of real metal and weld it in, because pop rivets, while they're popular, maybe not the best choice, but they did an amazing job piecing that in there. I mean, just look at that craftsmanship. Oh, the drop-off panel is not one piece. There's more pop rivets. Okay, so front suspension, again, front sway bar, drum brakes, and I won't know the full details on this car until I get the Marty report. But who knows? Who knows what this may have actually been before it was mutilated. Also, I think I have something to show you on these front fenders. I'm going to pull these off. So, it looks like this thing has at least had some sort of impact on the passenger side. Hard to say, really hard to say. The driver's side, it looks like they, I don't know, started painting it blue or something. It was definitely not a blue car. So, here's probably the best part. Rust-free, I say rust-free, 69 front fenders. And I'm not sure if these are, I mean, I can't say this is aftermarket. This one in particular, I can't say. However, what I can say is these, or at least the passenger side, is going to end up on my 69 Mach 1. This is broken down here. That's an easy fix. Overall, you can see where it was chattering. It was rubbing on the on something here on the ride down, but this fender's in great shape. So that's a bonus. But let me go look at the other one. And this one's even better because it's got a code on it. Now, what this means is this is likely an original tooling fender that was produced later. But still, it's an original Ford fender. At least that's my understanding of when I see those kind of numbers on it. So the interior of this, fantastic. I mean, there's a little surface rust here, but the inside, there's nothing wrong with this fender. So this is definitely, oh, there's a stamp code. Look at that. There is a date code, or you know, a stamp code. 16 something. So that's a bonus. I'm happy about that. I don't know if this other fender has it or not. Let's take another look real quick. Yeah, I don't see any. It does not have the code on the flange. That much I did not see. I know it's not there. But still, great set of fenders. Okay, now the next thing is to get it off of the tow dolly and into the garage. It's going to go underneath the 68, and then I need to move the Cobra Jet out. Well, I need to move it out first anyway, and then I think I'm going to rearrange the whole garage and get the Cobra Jet back in the paint booth. Lots of hustling today. The plan is to move the Cobra Jet back into the paint booth area. And so the Mach 1 that is back there needs to be moved here. The 70 is going to end up underneath Fangled. So all this has to be rearranged. Now, the Cobra Jet, it will roll fairly easily. Not a big concern there. I know that the 70 will roll right underneath of Fangled, but there's a lot more to do. So in the back here, as you all know, I have a Mustang, I don't know, parts shop. I've already opened up the back door, started moving some things. So this car needs to go up front. So that means pretty minor, moving stuff off the top, moving the fenders, rolling this out. But from there, all of these pieces, which are either part of or leftovers or pieces and parts for the Cobra Jet, have to come out of here at some point as well. And then also all of this stuff over here, which is for my Mach 1. So I'm not going to bore you with me moving stuff around, but that's the plan. And I need to get moving and try to get this done while the weather is nice. Well, they are all inside, safe and secure, and you know, that's good. That is a good thing. However, the Cobra Jet needs to go to the back. So this is kind of just a brief look at everything wedged in here. The 70 all the way in the back there, and of course the 68 up on the lift. But you know, this is so rewarding to see all of these in one place, and especially having the Cobra Jet right next to basically the original car. It just kind of gives you a little more perspective on how things are supposed to look. Now, the other thing I'd like to do, which won't happen today, or I don't know when it'll happen exactly, is I do have the other 69 quarters from Dynacorn that I would really like to get on this car, just to button up the sheet metal and call it done as far as that goes. That way the quarter panels would be out of the way. I wouldn't be kicking them around, and it would address anything I have to do with this car, any serious metalwork, because there is nothing else. There's literally maybe a little work I could do up here in this front where somebody else has patched this in, but other than fixing the the wheelhouse where it had some rust and putting in these quarters, that's like all the metalwork that has to happen to this car. Unlike this one. Well, I managed to get some things rearranged, and now that the 70 is underneath the 68, I can come back here and show you that yes, the Cobra Jet is in the paint booth, but I still have so much stuff to move. So much stuff to move, because I have to have room in here to not only do some work, but also to actually paint the car. I'm not going to bore you with all this stuff being moved around, but just letting you know. So with that, that's probably going to be the end of this video. Initially I'd started working on the further stripping of the Cobra Jet, and then of course I made this road trip to pick up the 70. Now that it's here, I need to be more active on the Cobra Jet, obviously, but I'm looking at some things around, and just like my Mach 1 sitting here, and I have 2 full quarter panels sitting on top of the car. I really don't have, that's not something you easily store. They get in your way. So sitting on top of the car is one thing, but they also hang out. I don't know if you can see that very well. They hang out over the top of the car, and that may not work. So I've been debating on what I want to do. Now I'm going to continue obviously working on the Cobra Jet and getting things done, but I may have to do the quarters, at least one quarter on the Cobra Jet, on my Mach 1 I should say, just to get stuff out of the way. It just kind of makes sense. I've got access to it right now. Maybe I'll do that as well, just to clean things up a little and make some more room, because there's only so much space that I have here. So that'll be the end of this video. There will be obviously more coming on the Cobra Jet, but I thought you might want to see all this stuff and what's been going on with the shop. I also managed to pick up a good head cold while I was up in Pennsylvania. Yay! So once again, I want to thank my patrons who continue to support me and help me make these videos. Without them, I'd probably just not be doing this at all. There will be obviously future videos coming up and future projects. So stay tuned, and until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya. However, I have so much and so many parts. Did I say so many? So muchy? Start that over.